All right, welcome to Online Secondary Math 2 with Mr. Warner. Here we are at 10.1. We're doing triangle basics. Our unit is triangle similarities. Here's our calendar. Things are going to be a little different. This is before we went online, so just stay in touch. Our homework now is on MathSpace, so you will see the due dates on MathSpace, and I'll get you more information about what we're going to do about testing. So just hang on for that, and make sure you get things done on time. The homework assignments are going to be shorter than what they were before, so you should make sure you'll have plenty of time to get everything done that you need. Just stay caught up, please. All right, so here we are. All angles of a triangle add up to give us 180 degrees. So this is just a rule, and I think you've covered that before, but just in case, all the angles, so there's always three angles in a triangle, they all add up to give us 180. So say we have a triangle here, where this could be angle A, angle B, and angle C. A plus B plus C is equal to 180 degrees. All right, so we're going to use that information to answer some of these questions. So it says find the measure of each missing angle. Okay, on MathSpace, it'll probably have it as an X, and they'll say find or solve for X. All right, so to come up with this problem, you got the same sort of setup as we have over here. A could be X plus 76 plus 58, and those angles, all three of those have to add up to give us 180. Okay, how you go around solving for this, it's up to you. You could subtract 76 over, and then you could subtract 58, or you can combine like terms first. So if we combine like terms, we had 76 plus 58, that gives us x plus 134 equals 180, and then we'd subtract 134. Like I said, the order you move things around, it's really up to you. So that ends up giving us x equals, just use your calculator and you get 46 degrees. Okay? When you plug stuff into MathSpace for these types of problems, when you're solving for x, I think you'll need to enter x equals and then your number, just so you know. Okay, so give B a try by yourself if you can, and then pause, and then give it a try. Okay? All right, so here we go. We got 60 plus 90 plus x equals 180. Okay. And again, this symbol here, this is a right angle or 90 degrees, in case you've forgotten. Okay, then we could combine like terms that would give us 150 plus x is equal to 180. Then we'll subtract 150 from both sides, and we'll end up getting x equals 30 degrees. Okay? All right, so do your best. If you're not understanding something during this whole online thing, go over the video again, slow it down, see if you can understand it. And if you still don't understand, then I would suggest emailing me and see what we can do, okay? All right, so next we have number 2A. Okay, so you'll also perhaps run into some problems like this where we still have three angles, we're still going to add them all together, and we're still going to solve for x. Okay, so here we'd have like 70 plus x plus 56, so that's our angle there. And then we'll do plus x plus 66, that's our third angle, and that all adds up to give us 180. Okay, so like we did with the others, we will combine like terms first. So we'll do 70 plus 56 plus 66. That gives you 192 plus, and then we have two x's. We have x and an x. That gives us 2x. equals 180. Okay. And then we will subtract 192. We end up getting 2x equals negative 12. And then we'll divide both sides by x. Or sorry, by 2. Divide both sides by 2. And we'll end up getting x is equal to negative 6. And it's okay to have negative values. We'll never have negative degrees. Okay? So, right. So if we were to plug negative 6 in, then our angles, like for example here, this would end up giving us 60. And here that would give us 50 degrees. Okay? All right, so B, I'd like you to give that a try if you can, and then come back to me. Okay? So it'd be the same sort of thing. X plus 67 plus x plus 87 plus 40 is equal to 180. Combine like terms. X plus x gives you 2x. 67 plus 87 plus 40. 67 plus 87 plus 40. It gives you 194 equals 180. And be very similar. So 194 from both sides. That gives us 2x is equal to negative 14. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals negative 7. Okay, so very similar to that other one. All right, so there we've got all the angles of a triangle add up to 180. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is triangle inequality conjecture. Okay, basically this says, this is the rule for 3 sides of a triangle. Okay, if we have a triangle that had, say, maybe a length that's that long, and then we have 2 other lengths that are really short, okay? That would never make a triangle, okay? And so this is the rule for whether or not 3 sides can make a triangle, all right? So the sum of the lengths of any 2 sides of a triangle, if you add them, they have to be greater than the 3rd side. All right, so let's say that this is maybe angle A, this is angle B, or side B, and this would be side C. Okay, so this conjecture tells us that A plus B has got to be greater than C. A plus C has to be greater than B, and B plus C has to be greater than A. Okay. All right, so that's the rule for that. The shortcut for that would be you add the 2 smallest sides, and it has to be greater than the shortest. All right, but this would always work. Okay, so you just add all of them. It has to be greater than the 3rd. All right, so again, I'll write this down for the or if you wanted to use the shortcut. Okay. You add the 2 smallest sides, and it has to be greater than the largest. All right. So here, without using the shortcut or whatever, okay, what we'd do is we'd want to add those together. That would give us 14. And that has to be greater than 12, okay? And then we'd want to add maybe these 2. That gives us 22, which is greater than 4. And then our final one would be these 2. That would give us 16 is greater than 10. So we can make a triangle with that, okay? Using the shortcut is you would just add the 2 smallest. So we'd add these 2 together. That gives us 20. And we'd say, is 20 greater than 22? and it's not. So no, that cannot make a triangle. All right, would add the next two smallest, that gives us 16. Is 16 greater than 17? No. So this would look kind of like, these examples would look kind of like these, where the longest side, it's too long to be able to connect the other two sides. All right, so try and see if you can do D, E, and F. Pause if you would, and give that a try. All right, so these are our two smallest. Is 18 greater than 19? So would say no. What about 9 and 3? Is 12 greater than 12? No. Okay, it has to be greater than. If it was the same length, then it would look something like this. Would have a long line, and then would have two other lines that are right on top of each other, and that wouldn't make a triangle. Triangles have to have an area. Okay? All right, and then the last one, we'd add the two smallest. That gives us 10. Is 10 greater than 9? And would say yes. Okay, so that is the triangle inequality conjecture. Now let's talk about side angle inequality conjecture. Okay, this basically the wording is kind of scary, but it's nothing. You got this. Okay, so it says the shortest side of a triangle is always opposite the smallest angle. And the longest side of a triangle is always opposite the largest angle. Okay, so if we just look at this triangle that's right next to us, and we look at this, maybe this is probably the smallest. If that's the smallest angle, then this is the smallest or shortest, smallest side. Okay? Here we have the longest side. Across from there is going to be your largest angle. Okay? And same as the kind of in the middle, like the middleist, if that makes any, that's not really a word, middleist side is across from the middle angle. Okay? So that's the rule for side angle inequalities. Okay, so if we look at this, it says order the sides of each triangle from shortest to longest. Okay, so if we want to find the shortest side, we just need to find the smallest angle. So this would be the smallest angle. So the smallest side would be UT. That's how you would write it for a line is, or a line segment or a side of a triangle is the letters that go between those two with a line on top of it. Okay, so that would be the largest, or sorry, the smallest to the largest. Next we would have 60. Okay, across from there that would be the next largest, so that would give us ST. And then the largest angle is across from the largest side, so SU. Okay, and the order of those letters, like if for UT, you could write TU if you wanted to. That doesn't really matter. Usually I do it alphabetically. Okay? All right, so here's another example. Here we've got the smallest. These both have the same angle. So the angles across from those, they are the same lengths. So we'd have something like KL is equal to MK or KM, either way. And then the largest side would be across from the largest angle, which would be LM. Okay? So give those two a try if you can, and we'll see how you're at. Okay, this is the smallest angle. This is the smallest side, so LK. Next is the 55, so we have LM. And then the largest side would be KM. And then the other one, again, we have another, this is going to be an isosceles triangle. So these two sides are the same length. So we have something like GE is equal to EF. And then this, actually that would be the largest, this would be the smallest. So the smallest would be FG. Okay. All right. And then doing it the opposite way, do some of these problems too. So if we have the, if we're going to do smallest to largest, smallest side across from there gives us the smallest angle, so angle D. The next largest would be 18, so that would give us angle E. And then the largest side would give us, opposite of that would give us angle F. Okay, so give a try on those two if you would. All right, so the smallest across from there gives you angle A. Then the next would give us angle B. And then the next would be angle C. For this one, smallest would be, across from there would be angle R. And the next would be angle S. And then the largest side would be, the largest angle would be angle T. Okay. All right, and then I think this is the last thing we're covering. Yep. Is isosceles triangles and equilateral triangles. So what's the difference between those two? Okay, so isosceles triangles have two sides that are congruent, the same lengths, and they also have their angles. There's also two angles that are also congruent. Okay, so we have two sides congruent and two angles congruent. Okay? All right, and just a hint, the two angles that are the same will never be right between those two congruent sides. Okay? All right, and then equilateral triangles that has three congruent sides and three congruent angles. Okay? So three congruent sides and angles. Okay? And these angles are always going to be 60 degrees. All right, so just here's some practice problems, okay? Use the properties of equilateral and isosceles triangles to find the value of x in each of the following. Okay? So what type of angle? First thing you got to ask is what type of angle is that, or triangle is that? So this is a equilateral, which means that all three angles are the same. So x here is 60 degrees. All right, so B, this is, since there's two congruent sides, this is our isosceles. Okay, so that means that we also have two congruent angles. Okay, and they're always going to be the angles that are, they're never, like I said, they're never right next to those two sides. Gosh, I'm sorry. Just a little tired. Okay, all right, so here we go. We know those angles add up to give us 180, so you could do x plus 30 is equal to 180. And we'll just combine like terms, so 2x plus 30 is equal to 180. Subtract 30 from both sides. 2x equals 150. And then we'll divide both sides by 2. We'll get x equals 75. Okay? All right, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. You can give a try on some of these, and I'll finish those up. If you're good, then you can go ahead and get started on your homework. All right, so this is, for C, this is also an isosceles triangle, which means that this angle is also 46. So we have 46 plus 46 plus x is equal to 180. Combine like terms, that ends up giving us 92 plus x equals 180. And then we'll subtract 92 from both sides. So x is equal to 88. Okay? All right, looks like we have another isosceles. So since these two are congruent, these sides are also congruent. Okay, so we have x equals 11. This is an equilateral triangle, which means that all three angles are the same. So 2 is equal to 60. Okay, but that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for what x is. So 60 is equal to x plus 69, which then we could subtract 69 from both sides, and we'll end up getting x is equal to negative 9. And then the last one, again, this is an equilateral triangle, which means that these two are equal to each other, and we can just solve. So we could add 7 to both sides. That gives us 16 is equal to 2x, and then we'll divide both sides by 2. And we'll get x is equal to 8. Okay, so that is the lesson for today. Again, please go on to MathSpace and get this homework done. Let's see how this goes. I'd get it done as soon as you can. That way we can see if there's any mistakes, or not mistakes, but like problem shooting if we need any help. Okay? All right, we'll see you later.